Alright guys, just got finished with watching the Google 2019 event where they covered the Pixel Buds, where I have a separate video I'll be linking out to watch my honest feedback for the Pixel Buds kind of reaction and review. I do think it's worth kind of dedicating a separate video just for that because headphones and earphones should no longer be kind of just treated as headphones and earphones. Technology is advancing everything, and so should it advance sound. Um, I do want to summarize kind of everything else that I saw from the Google event, and hopefully I will get to actually use these devices. And after buying them, since Google doesn't really sponsor my videos at the moment, fingers crossed. So, boiling it down to what I think about the Nest Mini, I think it's a perfect direction for people that own a Wi-Fi device. Sorry, not the Nest Mini. I mean the Nest Wi-Fi. Some of this naming stuff is still pretty confusing. I'm not entirely sure why Google chose those certain names, just because you have Nest that kind of moved into the Google Home experience. So if anything, I was expecting more of a Google branding than a Nest branding, but anywho, I'm not a marketer. Uh, to a certain extent, I am, but anywho, um, with the Nest Wi-Fi sound Google Home thing combination, whatever it is that they're calling that, um, I think it's brilliant because I have a Google Home pretty much right next to a Google Wi-Fi router. Um, Throughout my house,
Sorry, I
I
don't know how
have
to help with that yet.
that's kind of like my downside with the Google Assistant. Um, Please don't say anything. Thank God. Um, Guys, I think the idea is brilliant. It's just that the execution, Google still needs to really work on that. Just because I have Google Minis just laying around the house. I use them a lot. I have about seven in my apartment, and I think if they really fix the software side of things, it's a perfect device to have. So I have no reservations in the advancement where Google combined the Wi-Fi router with their speakers. Um, Makes sense. As far as the Nest Aware kind of service, so happy they brought down the pricing. But my concern is that there are other competitors that are probably 10 times cheaper than the value that you'll get Nest cameras for. And they're offering free, literally free storage, or kind of like up to like 14 to 30 days. Um, I'll make a separate video on Wisecam, but I also have that, and I've not paid more than $25 to get that. I'll drop a link in the description for like my review, and if you want to buy that, they have it for about 14 days of backup, and I've integrated that with my Google Photos backup, so I pretty much have free storage in general. So I don't understand if they're offering free video and Photos backup on Google Photos, why can't they just combine the two and offer free backup of all your videos and feed in general? Um, they can allow people to delete it, or have some sort of other algorithm to kind of recommend, like, hey, no activity was recorded on this day. Do you just want to delete the feed? People can choose yes. Just doesn't make sense to pay any amount, even if it's $1. And again, I'm not being cheap. I pay for Google storage because I see the value in it. But in this, I just don't. And as a technical person, I can kind of combine the Google Photos combination with the Nest cameras and just call it a day. With that being said, moving on to the Google Pixel Go, I believe, their new laptop. So kudos to Google for kind of still making an effort to improve the laptop space. I think they've headed more in the direction of like the Apple MacBook keyboards. Um, I hope not that they I hope they don't run into issues with the keys, just as MacBook did. So I'll keep a close eye and do a follow up video in terms of what happened or what became of those laptops. My concern with Google Pixelbooks is not the hardware, which for some reason they keep advancing every year, it's the software. Right now, my nephew, who has a $200 Chromebook, can do as much as what's possible with my $1,200 Pixelbook. And that gets to me. I've owned a Pixelbook for about a year and a half, I think, at this stage, and it's garbage. Right now, the only thing that Pixelbook is doing is holding the webcam. I'm not joking. It's good for nothing else. To a point where after a year and a half, I bought a MacBook Pro just because I couldn't get the Pixelbook to be the functioning laptop for me. And I'm an artist. I make music. I edit pictures. Sometimes I edit videos, and Pixelbook is just not for that. So great that Google advanced their hardware. You know, I felt like it was a nice to have, not a must have. But what the must have is their OS. So no comments. They should really up the operating system for that. Last but not the least, the device that has always been killing it, the device that convinced me to go for other Google devices, and the device that hopefully I will buy is the Pixel 4. With what they introduced in the Pixel 4 as far as the camera, just no comments. Watch the video made by Google in terms of like what technology and stuff they introduced in their phone, and especially their camera. I won't speak too much about the camera. It's just hands down the best thing out there right now. I'll speak to about their motion detection piece. That will move the needle. There are pros and cons to that if you're thinking of buying one. The pro is any cool new feature that will come out as a result of building apps for the motion sensing. Like, you'll be the first to experience it, you'll be the first to deal with it, but the limitations are also there. So limitations in terms of if you're utilizing your phone for any virtual reality things, it's pointless to have motion sensing there, unless they're able to use head gestures and things like that. But which I really don't think they needed a motion sensor. They needed more of just an accelerometer to kind of figure things out, and a gyroscope, which I believe they already have. But what's cool is that you can now interact with your phone at a whole different level. I've been just thinking about like things that I can do in terms of like, swipe and snaps and different like they're almost introducing a whole new interface to a phone. The con, which is really big, is if you actually study how majority of people use their cell phones, just ask yourself, where's your phone right now? Chances are it's in your hand. If not, it's further away from you. And if anything, in order to interact with your phone, in order to do something to utilize your phone, not just dismiss notifications, you need to be able to see it. And I'm not talking about Google launching some sort of like hologram sort of solution to this. I'm just saying that if you're going to introduce motion sensing, it needs to be able to serve as a utility for something very more practical, right? If my phone, which is on the table where it is, and I'll move it here just for the sake of an example, what am I going to do with just gestures, right? Unless like I'm playing some sort of games or some sort of like interactive things, like that's fun. But it's a nice to have, it's not a must have. So I really hope that the developers, I'm not just talking about third-party developers, I'm talking about Google developers, can produce enough software to really justify the motion sensing technology. What I am happy about is the price point. With all those features and all that camera and whatnot packed into a brand new device, it's only $800. I spent well over $1,000 for my Pixel 3 XL. wasn't even waterproof. So um, eh, yeah, just hope this review helped, and just drop your feedback, questions. Happy to answer whatever you guys want to talk about.